Hello, this is Diego Mangabeira and welcome to BoringSales. Today we're going to talk about cold email compliance. We're going to talk about a lot of acronyms and how they can represent a problem or even a solution for you and your business. So we're going to talk about GDPR, CAN, SPAN, and what actually matters. Okay, compliance is something that is stuff that you need to pay attention. I've seen companies get fined, domains burned, and also reputations destroyed because of that. Over 30 minutes of reading would have prevented. Um, that's not something that we not do not need to pay attention. That's why I'm just recording this podcast, this video, just to make sure that that you were well informed before you do anything wrong on this case, independently of the geography that you are. But most important in the US, right? You need to pay attention on the message that you're sending, but the way that you're sending. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. This is not something that replaces a legal perspective. So you need to also ensure that your legal representative or your legal professional also aligns with you the message or the way that you corporation or LLC, the way that you are communicating. But it's really important that your code email compliance is up to the task. This is not a legal advice as well. This is a practical guide for a salespeople, for a salesperson, for salespeople who don't want an unpleasant surprise. Just that. Okay. And the two approaches most people use are the approach number A. In this case is I'm not sure what the rules are. Okay. I hope I'm fine. That's more like I don't know about anything. If something happens, I didn't know, right? That does not work, especially with legal. And approach B might be something around I hired a lawyer and spent 10K, 10 grand on a compliance audit. Okay. Neither is necessary. Okay. What you need is a working understanding of what applies to you. Okay. So I'm going to make some detailed information to share with you about some compliance programs, especially in US or EMEA or even North America, that you need to pay attention. We start with CAM spam in United States. Okay, what each actually requires. So it requires from you and your company accurate from, okay, name and domain. So no fake identities. Imagine that you're sending mail. So is this from a real person? Do you exist? Okay. No deceptive subject lines. So don't mislead about content. That's why we are reiterating about cold emails or outreach, outbound, that you do not, you should not, that's better. You should not mislead any type of information. Everything that you're sharing is aligned, it's coherent. We always like to use this adjective. So it's coherent with your message, with your product, with your solution, everything that you're sharing with your stuff. Physical address in commercial emails. That's really important. You need to have that. Even in newsletters, we have our own in Beehive, but you have in Substack, you have other Kit that was previously ConvertKit, Active Campaign, any type, MailChimp, every single mail marketing program has this physical email address that you need to put. Also, opt-out mechanism. So honor within 10 business days. If you do not apply those terms, the fines could be up to 50,000 grand. Okay, so 50 grand per email per violations. On this case, and CAN spam applies to commercial messages. If we're talking about business, every single email is a commercial message, but most applicable when you're sharing a CTA, something like that, or even you're selling some information inside of your emails. Okay, B2B prospecting emails have more flexibility, but the basics still apply. So pay attention. Other compliance program is GDPR from EU, European Union. If you're emailing anyone in EU member states, this apply to you. regardless of where you're based. Okay, if you're in the US, sending emails to someone in EU, you need to follow GDPR, for instance. The key concept for this program is lawful basis for processing personal data. For B2B cold email, most companies use legitimate interests. Okay. Meaning most of the time, since I work a lot with outreach to European countries, the person should need to authorize you to send that type of information because he or she already uh, apply an opt-in option inside your landing page or any type of product, service, or solution that you offer before. It's really legal terms, but basically, the person authorized you to send information. That's the interpretation of the European Union. In practice, you can email a VP of sales about a sales tool. Okay, in this case, it's defensible, but if the person is not inside your own arena, I would pay attention a lot. Okay, you cannot email random consumers about products they never requested, especially in EU. Okay, and what GDPR requires: easy opt-out, so the possibility of unsubscription, something like that. One click, no friction, honor immediately, not in 10 days now. So just click the button. I do not want to receive your emails anymore. Ability to answer what data do you have on me if asked. Okay. Don't retain personal data you no longer use. Okay. And what GDPR does not require, explicitly opt-in consent for most B2B code outreach. Okay. Common misconceptions that. About Canada, we have CASL or CASL. Okay. CASL. Stricter than CAM span on scale generally requires express and implied consent before sending. Implied consent exists if existing business relationship or contact info published publicly for commercial purposes. High volume prospecting to Canada. I don't know about you if you have a lot of Canadian leads, but that is applicable, so you need to pay attention to CASL. Consult a proper CASL guide or a lawyer on this case. So, in single terms, straightforward with you, there's a practical compliance checklist that is applicable to any type of compliance in the world, legal compliance that you need to follow, especially for a cold email. Okay, and it's like this: a subscribe option in every cold email, you must have it, even B2B. Okay, automated and honored immediately. That could save a lot of hours, a lot of your time, and a lot of your money as well. Physical address in every single email that you send, in email footer, you could try that. It's easier. Okay. Suppression lists synced across all sending tools. Honest from identity always. Okay, from whom is sending those emails. Don't buy lists from sketch sources. Okay, unverified data is a compliance and deliverability problem. Most of the time, when you export, when you import and go to upload that list for your outreach program, you're going to face a lot of problems, and you could even burn your own domain. Okay, do not do that. It doesn't worth it. Document your ICP reasoning. If GDPR applies and someone asks why you email them, you should be able to explain. Okay, if you have more sources, if you have more already explanation, it's easier for you to also explain for the person. Sometimes really like an online explanation and that's it. And I face some problems like that. The person asks, but we can always say, oh, I was trying to reach you because I'm trying to reach that person. And most of the time that was happening because there were different types of job titles inside that company, and I was trying to reach that area, the sector, and there were a lot of decision makers on that arena. Okay, everything here is educational based on my experience as a sales professional, not a legal advice. Okay, I'm I'm reiterating that. High volume, outbound into regulated markets, talk to a lawyer. So this is not a legal advice. You need to go to your lawyer, ask him or her about the next steps, especially on your legal, how to do that correctly. One legal consultation costs a fraction of one compliance violation. And I always think this way, not just about my business, but about my life. It's better to be proactive than reactive. Okay. That said, following what I just covered puts you ahead of 90% of senders all around the globe operating today. Okay. And I wish you a great day for you, your company, and your business. Okay. Keep it boring, and we'll see each other in another podcast. Bye. Take care.
Let's go.